Welcome back to the Haunted Mansion Tournament Expert Division Weekend Round, hole number 1. Here we're going to be setting up for a Hornet or Thorn rough bump, playing up the left-hand side. And you're going to either do a rough bump, an in-bringer shot, or a bounce up with a little bit of backspin. Got all 3 drops to show you. Because this shot requires overpower, and that's kind of subjective. The rollouts can tend to be a bit different. You can roll long or a little short. So I got 3 drops to show you with all 3 clubs here. But before we get into that, I'd like to remind everybody that if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell. You can get notified when I go live, post new content. You can also find our text guides at patreon.com/GCFenzel, and we offer pro, expert, and master notes. One other note, so my dialing in / first look rounds are no longer going to be public. They are for members only. So if you'd like to come and hang out while I'm dialing in the shots, get some extra looks at the hole, maybe catch some different options that I try, then you can become a channel member. The link is in the description of the video. All channel members get access to the stream. So any level, doesn't matter. As long as you're a channel member, you can come hang out for the dialing in of the notes. So we're going to start at P3 max rest, or at the top of the plus 16. APOC 5 and 6, you'll have 1/3 of the blue ring in the left rough. APOC 7 is blue ring touching the left rough. And APOC 8 is 2/3 of the clear ring in the left rough. That's all at P3 max rest, or the top of the plus 16. Once you set up, if you're setting up with a P3 ball, then you'll need to switch to a P4 plus ball, wind 3 plus. All right, so you can switch to a 4-4-4 ball like I'm doing here, or you can switch to something along the lines of a luminary, so that you don't have to pull as much overpower. So if you wanted to go, say, P5, wind 3, you'll pull less overpower than using the P4 ball. With that being said, if your winds are in the 6s, you say you're using a 4-4-4 or even a P5 wind 4, then you need to play a half a ring less overpower than what you pull into. So if you pull 4 rings, play 3.5 rings. If your winds are in the 7s, then you play what you pull into. If your winds are in the 8s or the low 9s, then you're going to pull a half a ring more than whatever you pull into, right? Snow curl is just overpowered depending on what ball you use, what wind strength you get. Target yardage for the Hornet / Falcon rough bump is right around 368, 365, 368, 370. If you roll, and that plays P4 plus 20% at slider. If you roll long in the in-bringer range, well, short of in-bringer range, but too long to play the short iron rough bump, then you can play just a straight bounce up shot with backspin. That'll play at plus 40% at slider. And if you're in in-bringer range, depending on where your max Endbringer is, you can play the Endbringer shot with a little bit of backspin, a little bit of left spin. And I'll go over those elevations with you because they will change depending on where max Endbringer is. But for this one, you want to set up near the fairway. So either have the blue ring or the red ring touching the rough fairway line on top. If you set up too far back, you don't get the ball guide that you get when you set up closer to the fairway on top. All right, so beyond that, if you're playing it with a Hornet, 5% slider for every 8 rings that you pull from men, and Falcon is 5% slider for every 6 rings that you are from men. So it's not that critical of an adjustment. You'll see when you turn to adjust it, the rings are small and they're kind of difficult to see. But the good news is it's, you know, pretty forgiving on the adjustment side of it. So if you're, you know, 0.1 or 2 more or less, then you're likely still going to drop the shot. So just get a good estimate of how many rings you are. 5% for every 8 rings with the Hornet, 5% for every 6 rings with the Falcon. That's for the rough bump. Also with the rough bump, you want to use left spin, like 3 to 4 left spin, to try and straighten out as much as you can with the wind angle. And you want the tip of the ball guide to be at least 1 square to 1.5 squares through the center of the cup. This is the Hornet bounce up shot. So on this rollout, I was not in the Endbringer range, but I couldn't get back to the rough bump, right? So I played men Hornet here. No side spin. I just used backspin as needed to get the ball guide to be just going into the front of the cup. Aim center cup and play this at 40%. P4 plus 40. The drive is P4 plus 10% max. 6 top, 1 left. I didn't go over that. Also, the rough bump is P4 plus 20% at slider. I didn't go over that. The bounce up here is P4 plus 40% at slider. And then the Endbringer rule plays different elevations, and I'll go over that in a second. So this shot, I got even more of a rollout. I ended up too close to the hole to play backspin with the thorn, but I can't use the Endbringer rule. So if you look there, max Endbringer was centered on the rough, on the fringe. So I played this shot with 2 backspin, 2 left spin. If you're playing the Endbringer bounce up shot, to keep consistency, always use 2 left spin and then backspin or top spin or no spin as needed, right? But always 2 left spin so that you can get the same result as I got here. If your max Endbringer is anywhere in the fringe, it plays P4 plus 40% max numbers. If you're somewhere in the middle, around here with your max Endbringer, then it plays P4 plus 35% at slider. max numbers, sorry, max numbers. And then if you're more along the lines of down here, then you'll play at P4 plus 45% max numbers, right? That's for the Endbringer shot if you get, too long of a rollout. The only other thing you need to know there is with 2 backspin and 2 left spin, you want the tip of the ball guide, that last bounce, to be kind of just before the cup or just into the cup, and then aim to center cup. And there you go. So that's a drop with all 3 different possibilities for a rollout. Should have a good chance here. The drive has been single great safe both sides. But if, the overpower scares you, definitely recommend using something like a luminary for this shot. Good luck, everyone. Hope you all get the drops, and we'll catch you on the next one.